Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. Color Technology Inc., Color Stock. Okay, so now we know exactly why it was behaving the way it was, right? Yesterday's video, I said, hey, I've been saying for weeks, like, man, this doesn't seem right. It doesn't follow the market. It keeps going nowhere. Looks like it wants to break down below $1. And then we got that MACD crossover. And it did pump a little bit, but it came back down. And then I thankfully, took the small L right before they announced the reverse split. And that's why I made that video, that whiteboard video, saying, like, it's important to have starter positions. So I did take the loss on the shares that I bought at 2.10 at that point. And, it is what it is. I think I just want to point out, I don't know how to start this video, honestly. I don't even know what to say. I want to point out one thing, and this is just a rule of mine. I'm gonna tell you my rule. So pay close attention. This is a rule that I have. If a stock screws me over, if a company disrespects me by doing a reverse split out of nowhere, out of the blue, because no one saw this coming, right? Now we're not gonna pretend like we saw this coming. There were some signs. In hindsight, like, the price just wasn't following the markets at all. There were signs, for sure. But hindsight doesn't matter. At the end of the day, no one could see this coming. And I see that as a sign of disrespect. The company does not respect you. That's what that means. They just did a reverse split on you. And I see that as a form of disrespect towards its shareholders, right? We invest to get a return. And when you do something like a reverse split like this out of the blue, is a sign of disrespect. Like, oh, we don't care about shareholders, whatever. We're just going to reverse split it, 1 for 8? Yeah, 1 for 8 reverse split on the 23rd. So this would mean that it's going to go to what? Well, if it was at $1, it would go to $8. But it doesn't matter. The fact that they're going to do this reverse split, let's say it stays in the 0.80s, which we knew if it dropped below $1 was going to go to 0.80s anyways. So, surprise, surprise, those levels, I even drew the line here. Like 0.80s is going to be the next level if it drops below $1. Surprise, surprise. But the moment they go back up to $6, let's say it goes to $6 after the reverse split, all it's doing is, it sounds cool, right? Oh my God, it's going to be at $6. I can sell my position that I'm bagged on up here. No, that's not how it works, unfortunately. What that does mean is, okay, so let's just take a quick look at what happened here. 5.49, right? That was the high. And it dropped to where it is right now at 0.89. So what does this mean? Well, I want you to think about this for a second. We had all of this. I can even draw it here. Let's just grab the price range tool from high to where it is right now at 0.89, and 83% drop. So anyone who bought the top is absolutely destroyed right now. And so I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, I bought down here at $1.15. Well, now you're underwater. I want you to think about that for a second. Even the people who bought at $1, who waited for $1, they're holding a bag. They just got bagged right now, unless they took the loss. But you know how most people are. They go all in and they hold the bag. Whereas if you added a starter position like I did, oh, okay, whatever. I'll take the $20, $30, $40 loss, whatever. It doesn't mean anything. Even on the $2.10 position, whatever. It's not a big deal. For those of you who don't know the Polish girl story is very sad. She wanted to buy American Farms, I believe. And obviously, you have to have a lot of money, in the millions, I believe. And she only had a $600K account. Long story short, she bought at the top on Rigetti, and then it dropped, that big gap here, took a 50% loss. And that was just greedy. And also, there was no concept of starter positions. So having that starter position is always important. At least if you're going to chase the top, at least have a starter position. Like, there's so much you can do to have such good risk management that when you lose, it's such a small amount, like $50. compared to your account size that it's whatever. But people don't think that way, right? Nobody goes into the stock market to go, oh, I'm going to get rich slow. Woo! Nobody goes into the stock market with that mentality. People want a lot of money fast. Let's be real. Here's the problem, though. That reverse split means we're going to go back to at least $6, depending on where color closes before the day before the reverse split, I believe. Well, that just means we have another 83% we can drop. That's what that means. I want you to think about what I just said. It just means we have another $5, $6 below us for it to come down. And then it becomes a pattern. It becomes a pattern of, oh, they reverse split to like $6, $7, and then it just bleeds back down to $1. They do it again, bleeds, and it rinse and repeats. So even if you bought it at $1, this ends up tanking back to $1 again a second time. You're going to be down like 83% or more. Does that make sense? So the people who have an average down there at 0.30, it's not only going to go down there to your average for those of you still holding at 0.20, 0.30, but it's also going to still bring you into the red. And then if it does it again, if it reverse splits again back to 5 or 6, then it becomes a cycle. So let's go to what's the good Mullen stock. Is a great example of this. I mean, this is a lesson video. This is why we're gonna take losses here and there. This is why you have started positions. This is why you take profit. You just never know what's gonna happen. Risk management is very important. As you can see here, Mullen stock just keeps doing reverse splits. That's why you're seeing these huge numbers. The share price of Mullen was never at billions. That doesn't make sense. Or millions. It didn't start at what is this? I don't even know how. Is that even 6 billion? I don't know. 3, 6. Yeah, this has done so many reverse splits that it shows these big numbers, right? But the reality is, this stock would come down under $1. It would reverse split, and then it would come right back down under $1, and then it would reverse split over and over again in a perpetual cycle of never recovering. It does have its runs, right? It does have its pumps along the way, but if you're a shareholder, if you truly believe in this, what does it matter? You're not going to take profit on these runs because you don't care. You want 10,000% return, not 5x. I mean, clearly there's people who were up 1,000% who never took profit on Kulr and watched it come all the way down. So this bleed out pattern here, can you guess how long this has been going on? Yep, this is the monthly time frame. Since 2023, Mullen it's in a permanent bear market for all intents and purposes. And so again, I see it as a sign of disrespect, and that's why I have this rule. If a company disrespects its shareholders like this, I'm just going to move on and touch something else. I'll play something that respects my money, my time, my efforts to do the due diligence and put in the work to make money off of the company. At least to make money off of trading it. But for longs, it still should be seen as a sign of disrespect. Like they just sprung it on you like this. Not, hey, in a few months we're going to reverse split. No, nothing like that. Nope. Because some of them announce it ahead of time. Here they just came out with it. And they waited, here's the best part, they waited until after hours. They waited until after stock market closed to reveal this. Not in the morning, not any other time. Let's wait till after market closes and then we'll announce it. So, yeah. Let me see if I can, I don't expect anything from this company anymore. Like, you can be bullish on it all you want, but here's the thing. There's a difference between being bullish and being foolish. Like, if you think it's gonna go to the moon, that's cool. But I'm telling you right now, I've seen many stocks who just reverse split over and over again. And you can go ahead, even if you're a Mullen shareholder, let them know, how does it feel to be holding down a stock 99% down? How does it feel to keep averaging down and it just keeps going down another 99%? Ask, if you're a Mullen shareholder, let them know. Ask any Mullen shareholder, hey, how has investing in Mullen been? Because they believe in Mullen. Mullen shareholders, they believe in Mullen. They love Mullen, right? They're going to hold it for years. They'll tell you, if they're being honest, they'll tell you, yeah, no. Mullen is not the way to go, and they'll probably, if they're being honest and they want to help you out, they'll tell you, yeah, be very careful with color, because you can keep averaging down, but if they just keep doing this over and over again, you're just gonna get destroyed. All it did is, let me put it this way, all it did was give shorts even more ammo to push it down even more. That's all there is to it. That's another way to view it. They gave shorts ammunition now to drop from 6 or 7 or wherever it's going to be after reverse split down to $1 again. That's all it did. It just gave it ammo. Another example of this is AITX. AITX, as you can see, it has plenty of pumps along the way, but inevitably it just goes down lower. So when you see these kinds of patterns in them, right? We're good at abusing patterns. But when you see these kinds of patterns, the bad kind, you have to accept, like, oh, this is how it is now. This is the reality, and until it shows us otherwise, we should assume it's going to continue to do this. Right? Because that's how we're good at recognizing patterns. One guy in my Discord is about to give back his APLD gains because he kept averaging down, I believe. Let's see, color, 800 shares of color. Need more color. This was in May, April. Well, he made money on APLD recently on the pump. Color, yeah, color, he bought some more color. So I remember telling this guy, like, hey, you don't average down on something. Like, don't do that, because you're just going to give back your APLD gains. Color, I'm waiting for 2 or 3, and color about May 6th. So he started with 800 shares, which is what, $800? And I believe, let me see. Yeah, he started with $800 worth, and now he has $4,000 worth. Because this guy sends me everything. Like, he always tells me, like, hey, what do you think? And he does, like, he does a good job sometimes, and sometimes he just does a bad job. Let me put it that way. Like Mara here, that's fine. Mara stock is established. There's some very abusable patterns with Mara. But color here, I don't know why he added this much. Like, that's a big problem. I notice he's gonna have to learn the hard way. See, he's learned a lot since joining the Discord, but he continues to make these little mistakes that cost him. Like, that starter position of $800, he should have just, that's it. I'm in 800 on color. I'm not going to add, lower. I'm not going to average down. If it doesn't work out, I take a small, whatever, $300 loss at this point after the drop. Because his average is at 1.32. That's why I'm saying that. Well, no, it would be maybe like 27% or something. But anyways, the point is, he kept adding to it. Even though I told him, like, don't do that. I don't know. I don't understand why people would. It's really upsetting when I alert something and I tell him, hey, it's just a starter. Like, don't add big. And you guys know, if you've been watching my videos, I was kind of, as I made more and more videos on color, I kept becoming more and more bearish, more and more like, something just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't. That crossover on the daily was cool, but it's still, it only follows the market when it's going down, not when it's going up. That was the biggest, like, key indicator for me, but, whatever. I'm content that I took that small loss and only had a starter, but, don't know about some more color. I think that's it, no? Or is there more? Let's see, there's more here. Color hold, you think color sell for 10%, or you say sell too early? Hold color for what? I'm just looking for 30% return on color. I assume what happened to color. Buy more color. Yeah, see, that's the problem. He takes gains on other stocks and then goes, oh, I'm just going to pile on to color. But that's a mistake, because you never know which stock is going to be the next Mullen. You don't know. You don't. You just never know which one's going to be the one that just continues to tank. This guy's awesome. I love him, don't get me wrong. Because I've learned a lot about human psychology from studying Bull for Life here, because he makes so many mistakes that are just that stem because like your biggest enemy is yourself. It's not anyone else. Well, the companies can screw you over, but if you have rules like, hey, if company screws me over and disrespects me, I'm done with you. You don't average down, you don't add more to the pile, you don't become a Super Bowl. Again, if you don't believe me, ask Mullen shareholders. They will tell you that they're down 99% or more on their position because it just keeps going down. And they just keep giving shorts ammunition by bringing it back up to like $5 or $6, and then it just goes back down to $1 and under. I've seen this before. This is like a huge warning video. I've seen this before. I'm telling you from experience. This is when you go, you're disrespecting me, Mr. Color Stock. I'm walking away from you because guess what? There's plenty of opportunities elsewhere that aren't going to reverse split on me. Like Rigetti or Quantum stocks, other AI stocks. There's other stocks, man. Too many people, and I think I remember saying this, like, hey, don't be so focused on one that you forget there's like others. Like quantum computing had its big run recently on the quantum hype cycle. We're going to get another one. In fact, quantum stocks are getting cheap right now. And I'm looking to buy IonQ. You can also buy Rigetti or the other ones, but you get the point. Like, you got to know when to walk away. I think selling RGTAI for Color is the good choice. Color has way better financials that are growing every year. Yeah, but its financials are growing, but the problem is stuff like this can happen where the company just goes, yeah, we're going to reverse split. Boo-hoo. Because we know a reverse split isn't bullish. That's why it dropped. The smart ones are getting out and just taking the loss and moving on somewhere else. Probably their exposure wasn't as much compared to some people who like to go all in. Sold our RGTI, put 200 shares into Color at 130, add another 400 at one. So he just kept averaging down. Yeah, see, I don't know. I'm not going to say I called it, but here you can see 5/16, May 16, 2025 at 12:18 p.m. Color could easily tank and never recover. Color does not climb higher on the yearly. Like I told him, I'm like, Color is risky. Like, why are you averaging down? And it's funny for me to say this like a month ago. Color could easily tank and never recover. Well, it did tank, and again, if it's gonna follow Mullen, which it can, we know already it doesn't follow. Okay, here's the best part. Listen to him about what I'm about to say. It doesn't follow the market. We know that. When the market was pumping, Color was going nowhere. It was like stuck at 1.27. And I flipped it, remember? I was like, yeah, I bought it 1.27, then I flipped it for like 1 penny because it wasn't going anywhere. Because I didn't feel confident holding it because something just felt off. This whole time, really, I was very... I don't know, it was just a gut feeling like, something about this doesn't seem right. It's not following the markets. And when it only follows it when it goes down. So we know that already. And it's been doing that for a while now. And if it's going to continue to do that like it's been doing, we would expect this to reverse split and it's just going to continue to fall. Right? That makes sense based on the patterns. And that's why I said this to him. I'm like, it's not Nvidia. It doesn't just continue to climb higher on the yearly. It's not a blue chip. It's a very risky play. It still is. That's why I added a starter position. That's why I didn't go big on it. My biggest mistake this year was buying Sybil stock at like 007s with 10K. And then it dropped to like 001s. And I was holding a big bag. It came back up for me, luckily. And it came back for a lot of people in my Discord, but that was like our biggest mistake this year. And since then, now I do starter positions and don't go as big. But you get the point. Trust your gut, man, because I don't... It's funny to look back at this message right here that I sent him. Color could easily tank and never recover. And I think I might have known already. And something to look into. If Color's diluting their stock to buy more Bitcoin, that's something I read that they're doing. Color keeps falling because this... Color looking iffy on 522. Like, I don't know, guys. You let me know what you think. Let me know what's going through your head. Let me know if you think you couldn't. No one could see this coming. But did you have a bad feeling? Like, did you have a bad feeling these past few weeks, these past months? Because I kind of did, but I was just kind of like, okay, I'll give it a chance here if it crosses over, right? But I'm not gonna go big. Color looking iffy. It will dump like Color RGT did back then. Color is listing to a new exchange. And I think color is making a comeback. Well, that's not happening. This was June 5th, by the way. Yeah. Look at this. This is insane. 6/11/2020. Personally, I flip RGTI for 500 to $1,000, and tomorrow for 1,000 to 2,000. I want to buy more color to get to about 10,000 shares. So that's kind of like well, that's insane because he's essentially saying I want to have $10,000 worth of color, but the problem is you have to be able to adapt and recognize like, oh, this this stock is behaving very differently. It just keeps going down when the market is pumping. If anything, it follows Mullen at this point. Again, I'm just telling you what I see. You can do what you want. You can. I should read some comments here, but this guy's about to give back. Like he should assume that. You guys better hope if you're like him in this situation where you bought at like 1.32 or God forbid at $5, you better hope that on the day of the reverse split it has a huge pump. Because sometimes that happens. A reverse split happens and then it pumps huge and then it just comes down. Like if that happens and you have the opportunity to get out, even just break even, do it, is all I'm going to say. If that happens. Because I've seen it before where a stock announces a reverse split, it does the reverse split, then it continues pumping. But this guy was already telling me that he was planning on essentially doubling down. Even though I don't know if he even watches my videos, honestly, because I was saying, guys, like, be careful. Like, I'm just gonna add a starter, like $500. That's nothing compared to wanting to add a whole another $5,000 on top. Taking a 50% loss on $5,000 is $2,500. On $500, that's just $250. Which one's easier to recover from if you have a 10K account? Does that make sense? That's just risk management right there. But people are greedy, People want lots of money fast. They want $2,000, $5,000. He wants to make $2,000 off of Mara. I guess if he's willing to hold he can, but he has to hold for a while, for months, because that one's going to be a while before it goes back to 25 plus. But anyways, that is my opinion. I think like the most bearish thing here is that it doesn't follow the markets. It hasn't done so. It only follows it on the way down. So we would expect it to continue to do that. And now it just has more room to go from 6, 7, or 8 back down to $1. Let me see if I can find the comment section, because some of the comments, man, oof. Some of the comments I was reading, some people were just way, way too bullish on a drop. Let's see, 10K down. Yeah, boy, you should have dumped my extra cash in Archer. Yeah, I took the L. I took the L on the shares that I bought at 2.10. But that's why I didn't go in big. He's 10K down. Goddamn, how much did he add? Because both for life here, he wants to add 10K, that's why I just said, like, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Damn, there goes my shares. I didn't see the news in time. I don't know how much are people adding, because I only alerted 2K shares at 2.10. Even that wasn't a big amount. Usually I add 10K worth. But after what happened with Sybil, I wasn't going to do it again. I was like, penny stocks, if we trade penny stocks, we're not going big. We're not going to be greedy at 10K. That's just a rule that I made up this year after what happened with Sybil stock. For those of you who don't know the Sybil stock story. 2K, yeah, so you should only... Yeah, this guy, I don't know how much did people add. It's so weird that I alert things and people, like, they go all in on it. On things that aren't even, that I tell them, like, oh, it's risky, don't go all in. Keeping my color for 2030, I don't care about today. that one made me laugh. Because Lord Zizka, you can go ahead, please go to the Mullen Reddit and just talk to some people and ask them, hey, how's your investment? And how's it going with the reverse splits? And ask them what has happened after every reverse split. And if they're being honest, they're just going to tell you, yeah, it just keeps going down. It was a bad investment. they'll probably tell you, I don't care, I'm keeping my mullen for 2080 or whatever. I'll die with it, really is what that means. Keeping when people start saying stuff like this, keeping my color for that's. I mean, there's people who have been holding AITX stock since 2020 and it's 2025. They said in 5 years I'm going to be rich. Well, guess what? It's 2025. Those people aren't rich. They're actually poorer now because the stock tanked to where it's at now at double zeros, 0011 I think, or 0014, somewhere around there. So this time is not your friend. Let me put it that way. I've seen it already. I've seen it. There's lots of stocks that people said in 2020, oh, in 5 years I'm going to be a millionaire. And guess what? Again, talk to Mullen shareholders. Talk to AITX shareholders. They're out there. You can ask them, hey, how's your investment since you've been holding since 2020? And you've been holding for 5.5 years. Ask them. And if they're being honest, they'll tell you, yeah, that was a mistake. Because that's the reality. Again, this 13 people liked it. That tells me that there's a lot of people who are foolish enough to believe that for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why they believe. I don't know. I don't. I've seen this before. I'm telling you from experience. I've seen this already. Is it a fallacy? Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know what word I'm looking for here. There's a word. I can't think of it. Like it's on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think of the word for this. When someone thinks that, oh, I'm just going to hold longer and totally, I don't care about today. Like, huh? Yeah, Mullen shareholders don't care about 2020. And it's 5 years later, and guess what? They're in the worst spot, actually. Same thing with AITX shareholders. Hold for 5 years and be a millionaire. I can't wait. I'm still young. Yeah, I heard that back in 2020. And guess what? There's people older than me who have met people who said in 2015, oh, I'm going to be rich in 2020. And then in 2010, someone said, oh, there's a guy in 2010 that said, hey, I'm going to be rich in 5 years. I'm holding for 5 years. And then in 2015, they weren't rich. They were actually poorer because they kept averaging down. I've seen this already. It's so weird. It's so funny how everything repeats. But the difference is, again, I didn't go in big. Me too, well said. Me too. This didn't age well at all. This didn't age well at all. Holding for the next 5 years, so it depends. You don't lose anything until you sell. Color went down due to a stock split. You don't lose anything until you sell. I think, you know what's funny about that? You don't lose anything until you sell. I think he said the same thing. Let me see. That's funny. They all have the same. It's so funny. People are from different countries, right? And they all have the same mindset, the same psychology. You don't lose until you sell. Lose. I think I just have to type in lose. Let's see. If I lose, if it's a really... no. Lose. I swear he said something about losing. He said the same thing. I can't find it right now. You don't lose until you sell. Let me see. You don't lose until... I should be able to find it. You don't lose until you sell. Or I sell? I sell. There it is. Like you said, it's not a loss until I sell. Well, I don't think I ever said that. But yeah, I don't think I ever advocate for that. But better buying opportunity. Like you said, it's not a loss until I sell. And I haven't lost this entire year following your strategy. Well, if you've been following me, then you know this guy added more than me on color. He added 4K. I only added, well, I guess if you're including the shares that I bought at 210, then I did have 4K initially. But I started only adding like $500 worth once it was at 127s and under. So the fact that this guy just wanted to pile on another 5K, I mean, he wanted to have a higher average. He was a lower average, but he was going to have more in color stock than I do. I don't know why people don't follow me one for one. If you follow me one for one, then you'd be taking a small loss right now. This happened with APLD as well. When I sell, people don't sell. Some of them don't sell. They just hold. And I'm like, okay, but if it tanks, that's on you. Don't get mad at me for not following me one for one. If you follow me one for one, you would be fine right now. You'd be like, ooh, thank God I only bought 500 shares like he did. I got out with a small loss, and if everyone else who bought $10K worth or more, well, good luck to them. I don't understand that. I don't understand why I don't follow one for one. I guess it's greed and wanting more is what I'm thinking. You guys want the stock to go up every day. Big money loading. This did not age well. Big money loading up? Yeah, big money loading up. Right. Yeah, big money loves to load up before a reverse split. Patience pays. I am too. Yeah, I've heard this before with Mullen stock and AITX stock. In fact, if I make a Mullen stock video today, I bet you right now, if I'm going to make a Mullen stock video today just for fun, let's see how many views it gets, but I'm just going to make a Mullen stock and I'm going to be very bullish. I'm going to behave very bullish. And I just want and I'm gonna tell everyone to leave comments below, letting me know, hey, next 5 years, right? Woo! I'm just gonna let's see if we get comments saying the same exact things these people are saying, because that's how predictable people are, and I've been there before. You guys want the stock to go up every day, big money loading up. I am too. Patience pays. Yeah, it pays if you're buying like Nvidia, or well, maybe not Apple, but I don't know enough about Apple to make that call. But Nvidia, sure. Bitcoin, sure. In fact, big money, the only thing big money is going to load up is, the only thing big money is loading up is Bitcoin at this point. Why buy color? I'll just buy Bitcoin itself. Yeah, PR release today. I think we'll see it run to $5. Well, it sure is going to run $5 on a reverse split run, but not actually organically. There's some massive opportunities to make money with this. Yeah, you better hope it's more than $5 after. See, this guy understands. Nick T here understands the name of the game. He understands. It's going to have to be more than $5 because now it just has more room to drop down. I only have 200 shares and currently down $3. Ooh, wait, what? Okay, you only have 200 shares and currently down $3, so I'll keep an eye on it. If I'll sell if it breaks below 112. I made an easy $20 flipping it this week. So he gave back some. So this guy's smart. Thunderbird 4709. I've been keeping track of how you trade and everything you say. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like if you follow me and you just add small positions like I was adding down here because I just didn't like what I was seeing. Like I just had a gut feeling. I respected that crossover on the daily. Yes, that's why I bought. I respected it and it did pump a little bit, but we've seen what just happened. But the fact that he ended 200 shares only down $3, guess what? Even if he just loses $100, it doesn't matter. Because his account size, relative to his account size, it's not a big deal. So this guy was smart. I don't know why they're laughing. Why are these bots? Because I can't tell who's a bot and who's not anymore at this point. But they're just laughing. I don't know why. That guy was smart, though. Well, he looks smart now in hindsight, obviously. If anything, Thunderbird, you should just reply with a laughing face at them. But anyways, yeah, I don't. Are there any other comments I may have missed? I don't see anything else. Is this? No, that's not it. No, I think that's it. Or is this? Oh yeah, the colors. That's funny. You know what's funny is I did make this color stock. What is this one? I made a color stock whiteboard lesson. Buying tops, lump summing versus starter positions, averaging up in 200 WMA. And you know what's funny? I made this video literally 2 days before, this big drop. And the whole lesson, the whole point of this video was a lesson. Like, hey, don't lump sum, add a starter position. Be smart about it. It's not going to run away from you. When it starts running, it's okay to average up as long as it's still under the 200. But I never talked about reverse splits because I didn't think we'd see a reverse split from a color stock. I didn't see it coming. So, I mean, who could have? Let's be real. But I wasn't expecting it. The light spot on the whiteboard is killing me. Same LOL. Color lesson starts at 4:40. Excellent channel. Shout out to I don't know how to say that name. Langugan? I don't know. Robert Harrison? Yeah. Shout out to you guys. Excellent, by the way, advice. Need capital available to dollar cost average if necessary. I don't advocate for averaging down unless it's a established stock. Like, I don't recommend it because we just saw why. These risks are always there. But let me just show you. Like Nvidia? Oh yeah, hell yeah. Average down on Nvidia. Let's look at that yearly time frame. What does NVIDIA keep doing on this year? This is the yearly time frame. What does it keep doing? It just keeps going up, exactly. And any red year is nothing more than an opportunity for the next big yearly candle. Big yearly candle, big yearly candle. Look at this, 3 yearly green candles. Red year, 3 green years. Ooh. It just keeps going up is the point. Color does not afford you that luxury that NVIDIA does. Does that make sense? I would venture to say that people who invest in NVIDIA over Color for the next 5 years are probably going to make money. Way more than Color stock shareholders. Why? Well, NVIDIA just keeps going up. It's done so for decades, right? And then when you look at Color on the yearly, what do you see? Oh, it's not the same. It doesn't just keep going up. It's just kind of going sideways here. In fact, after a big green after a big green year, it's followed by 2 red years. That's interesting data. Hopefully you guys are watching till all of the video. There's a lot to talk about here. I never look at the yearly chart on. I never really bothered with analyzing the yearly chart on Color because it doesn't have enough data like NVIDIA. But this is interesting, right? Look, one big green yearly candle, and what's followed by that? 2 red years, then a big green yearly candle. If history is going to repeat, are we going to see 2 red years? Is that? I mean, you better hope not. But green year, 2 red years. Green year, 2 red years? Question mark? I wonder about that. But again, dollar cost averaging, I don't recommend it. Because you never know when you're adding down to a loser. That's just going to keep losing. Whereas if it's NVIDIA, if it's something that if it's a blue chip that just keeps climbing on the yearly, it's, oh yeah, average down, go ahead, right? You could have kept averaging down on NVIDIA when it was at 100, 90, 80s, and then averaging up at 90, 100, 120, and you're in the green now because it's at 140. But that's because it's a blue chip. It's a established stock. Color is not that, so you don't have that luxury of being able to average down. So when it comes to dollar cost averaging, I absolutely believe you should dollar cost average if you're buying something like NVIDIA, something that just continues to trend on the yearly. But if it's something established, blue chip, yes, cool, keep averaging up and down, cool, awesome. But risky stocks, you don't want to do that. Unless it's pumping huge. Then okay, if it's getting a hype cycle, sure. But be ready to hit the sell button. Like, you got to be nimble if you're going to play that kind of game. But I still don't recommend it. I still don't. It's just safer to buy the bottom and then let others chase it up for you. Hey Shades, your intro is blazing my speakers. Oh yeah, I blew some ears out. The intro, I need to change the intro. I need to mess with it. But anyways, let's go to the quarterly. Oh, that looks so ugly too. So one big green quarterly candle, and it's followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quarterly red candles. 9. Then it goes sideways for a couple quarters, then a big quarterly green candle, and then one big quarterly red candle. Another very bearish quarterly red candle. If history is going to repeat, we would just see this come down again. We would just have quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter, which would coincide with the yearly time frame, right? 2 red years when a big green year happens. 2 red years is what we would expect. And this year's not over yet, so I can't even begin to imagine. I'm just showing you the patterns. I know some of you are going to kill me in the comments, but I'm just showing you the data. Like, it's right here. I'm showing you it. Like, what do you want me to say? Like, you want me to lie to you? And, oh guys, don't worry, we're going to pump huge. Woo! When's the last time they even got a contract? I'm scrolling down through the watch list, the news side, and let's see. Nope. Color project double revenue amid AI and robotics market expansion. Well, we'll see if that ever happens. Yeah, I'm like, when's the last time they got anything? They've just been so focused on Bitcoin, Bitcoin, and buying more. Yeah, they've been buying Bitcoin since forever. 21 million purchases of Bitcoin. What are they trying to be, man? AI, Bitcoin. They're trying to do it all. Like what? That's also a problem. Like you have no. They really want to become a Bitcoin treasury, is what it's looking like, with how much they're buying. But the funny thing is, it's still just tanking and not following Bitcoin at all. Okay, this is the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame. It still looks bad, right? We just keep tanking. We just keep tanking. It's just rinse and repeating the past. Also, that MACD cross under, if it happens this month, very bearish, right? Remember, if it happens, the last time that happened back here, we just tanked. Now add the reverse split on top of it, and realize that we just gave shorts more ammunition for it to go down, more sellers to push it down. Because now they can push it down from 6, 7, or 8 back to $1. So we're they just gave it more room to fall. And the monthly would reflect that. We would just see month after month of red. Maybe we find support somewhere, yes, but ultimately, it seems like it's set to repeat that its historical patterns. The weekly, yeah, looks pretty much like you would expect. It looks like a descending triangle ready to break down. Well, became a dog for a second. Yeah, it already broke down. What am I saying? It already broke down. It's at 89 cents. My bad. It already broke down. What am I saying? Yeah, here on the daily, you can see it pumped, right? We bought on that crossover, and it did pump to 132. So, I could have flipped it, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to flip. I'll just hold whatever. Since it's such a small position. Yeah, they waited until market closed to say anything. That's just scummy. That's just scummy. Because some companies let you know ahead of time, like, hey, we're going to reverse split, in a year or whatever. 3 months, 6 months, 2 months. But they were just like, yeah, it's happening next week, right? It's happening next week, I believe. It's the 14th, so it's happening next week. Yeah, because today's the 14th. Yeah, today's the 14th. It's the Trump parade and No King's protest. So 14, 15, 16. 16 plus 7, 23. So it's on Monday. Monday next week. I just did math. Woo. Yeah, Monday next week is when we should see the reverse split. I really hope for your sake, especially if you're in my Discord, if the stock pumps on the day of the reverse split, because sometimes that happens, I hope you get out if you get the opportunity to get out at a break even, or as close to break even as possible. I hope for your sake. Because that's why you don't add big on the riskier stocks. We learned this when we bought Sybil stock and it came down. This part of the video is mainly for the Discord, because they should have learned already. We bought Sybil stock at 007s, 006s, thinking, oh, what an opportunity from highs, and then it went down to 0011. It was looking really ugly, right? And then it recovered, and we got out. Some of you got out at a profit, some of you got out at a small loss, but the point is we didn't have to hold a big bag down here at 0011s or take a huge 80% loss. But this is why you don't go all in, and this is why you focus on the better stocks. And if you're going to trade these smaller, riskier penny stocks, technically Kulr is considered a penny stock because it's under $5. That's why you have started positions. That's why you have all this risk management. This is why you don't go big on these relative to your account size. You want to go big on the safer ones, like Mara or Riot, or even the quantum stocks that have been pumping every time they get a huge quantum hype cycle. You want to buy your Nvidias and all that. This is a long video. Very long video. Probably the longest video I've ever made. And it's all about Kulr stock, really, and taking lessons away and from it and everything that's happened. Let me know what you guys think. Isn't it funny, though? I just had a bad feeling for over a month, and that I don't. Next time, I'm just gonna trust my gut. If I have a bad feeling about something, I'm just not gonna bother. I'm just not gonna bother with it if I have a bad feeling. Yeah, there goes my shares. Damn, I like this long, but reverse split, never a good thing. And this guy, oh boy, this guy. I don't think he's seen. He hasn't messaged me, so I don't think he's seen what happens with color. So, and I haven't read his message. I should read it. Shouldn't leave him on read, but yeah, Mara stock I agree with. Mara stock, even Soundhound, Ion Q, hell yeah, Rigetti, even Uranium, hell yeah. But out of all these on his list here that he's bought, notice how his biggest position is. It's Color and Mara. Mara is fine. You're fine with Mara, but Color was the riskiest one out of all of them. Color's the riskiest one, and his account size is small, like 10K, 20K, somewhere around there. So he's about to experience a big ouchie. He's about to learn. If he's watching this video, you're about to learn today. Like, you're about to learn a big lesson that I learned back in 2021. Like, this is just a lesson you have to learn the hard way. That's fine. We all have to learn the hard way. What do you think? You think I went into the stock market knowing what the hell I was doing? Hell no. I've been through this before. This is why I'm warning you, like, be very careful. This is why I was telling Bull for Life, don't average down. And he did. He started with $800 worth, and now he has almost 4K worth. Like, he was adding more while I was being more cautious, right? And yeah. So he was doing the opposite. It's just experience, and sometimes you just got to learn the hard way to really, like, hey, next time I'm not going to go big on these riskier penny stocks. Because he wanted like a 500x or something ridiculous. And I mean, obviously he's a little cocky and overconfident because he made 40% or 50% on APLD recently. You better hope Color recovers like APLD, but last I checked, NVIDIA is not invested in Color. NVIDIA is not invested in Color, and Color doesn't exactly offer AI infrastructure or anything AI for that matter. I mean, they offer that one product for warehouse workers or whatever, but it's whatever. It doesn't mean anything until the revenue start growing. But even then, did they explain why they did? Is there a reason for the reverse split? Color stock reverse split. I am curious. Did they reverse? Why the reverse split? It's not like we were under $1. So were they just doing it in anticipation? Let me see. Color. Color will enact a 1-for-8 reverse stock split on June 23rd. The move aims to attract what? The move aims to attract institutional investors in line with the upcoming Russell 3000 reconstitution. This is what I was saying. The reverse split on June 23rd, please be awake and aware and just keep an eye on it because it could pump. Again, I've seen that before. It could pump. So, and if it does, please, I implore you to get out and just move on. Plenty of other opportunities. While this thing was sitting there doing nothing, the APOD pumped. Quantum stocks pumped. All these other stocks that I talk about in this channel, they all, like, you could have made 30 to 50 or 80% depending on where you bought. Meanwhile, this one's just sitting on its butt doing nothing. So I implore you to get out if you can at a break even or as close to break even as possible if it does pump on 23rd. So keep an eye. 23rd. The 23rd is going to be a big deal. Let's see if it moves. The move aims to attract institutional investors at the cost of longs right now, because it obviously them announcing the reverse split was going to cause it to fall, like it just did. At what, 23%? So it came at the cost of you, who's holding long. That's why I said at the beginning of the video, what they did was disrespectful. In fact, they're basically saying, yeah, we care more about the institutional investors, not so much the little guys. Screw the little guys. Yeah, they can hold the 25% bag. Let's get these institutional investors in. That's really what that means, if you think about it. And you can't blame them, really. The institutional investors have more money. So, but still, it's still disrespectful towards you if you think about it that way. I know someone's thinking, well, they can disrespect me all they want, just make me some money. Well, you better hope it pumps on the 23rd. The upcoming Russell 3000 reconstitution, post-split, shares outstanding will drop from 3 million to 300 million to under 40 million, which would make it a low float stock, I believe, if I recall. I think I said this last time. I don't remember if I said it, but if it becomes a 40, no, wait, no, it was AITX that I said if it becomes a low float, there's money to be made. Is 40 million, yeah, wait, is Israel, no, not Israel. What was I going to type? Is 40, yeah, 40 million shares outstanding, a low flow. I mean, you know what I'm saying? No, but 40 million shares is so little. It's not going to take much trading volume for it to move. So either way, the fact that the outstanding shares were going to drop from 300 million to 40 million, it's not going to take as much volume now to get it going. So that's why I'm saying, like, hey, the day of the reverse split, watch for a huge pump. If you can get out, get out. If you want to hold it for 5 years, good luck. That's all I'm going to say regarding that. Yeah, but either way, hey, we aim to attract institutional investors, but what they're not saying is, what they're not going to tell you is, yeah, the little guys, screw you, take hold that 25% loss. Hold that 25% unrealized loss. Yeah, that's basically what they said without saying it. Who can get the ball rolling on the class action lawsuit on behalf of investors? We got completely scammed. That's funny. That's not how it works, though. I've seen this before. I remember someone wanted to sue Sybil stock because the stock dropped like 80% or something. And people wanted to sue Sybil stock. But they wanted to sue the CEO, which is stupid. That doesn't make sense. That's not how this works. The markets are not, you get to play for free, and if it doesn't work out, you sue the company and you, because you want to get your money back, and then some on top. Like, that's not how that works. You don't get to just play for free. You don't get to put money in the markets, and if it doesn't work out, you sue the company or the CEO and you want to get back your money, and then some on top. Like, you basically want to play for free is really what you're saying. Like, either I win one way or the other. That's not how the markets works, buddy. So, that's not how this works. Let me read the comments. That's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Maybe I can send them back to okay, these are just bots at this point. A dick move to pull on a Friday afternoon. Oh, that's so true. They waited for Friday. They waited for the weekend. That's another thing. They waited till Friday afternoon after market close to pull this off. And they basically said, yeah, we care more about the big money. Little guys, the small investors, the retail like me and you, screw you guys. Yeah, hold that negative 25. That's what it is. This is why I started off the video saying, yeah, they disrespected you. Do you want to deal with someone that disrespects you like that? Because that means they'll do it over and over again. That's what that means. Got to know the red flags. Michael Moe needs to be prosecuted. He's been buying up Bitcoin, diluting shares, which screws shareholders over. Yes, that's true. Again, I want you to really think about what I'm saying. This entire video can be summed up with they screwed you over, the little guys, the shareholders, the ones that don't have, that aren't institutional investors. You guys got disrespected. They disrespected you by diluting. They disrespected you by not only diluting, but then, hey, we're going to wait till a Friday afternoon after market close to do a reverse split, and it's only going to be a reverse split that happens literally the next following week. Not even, well, at least it wasn't the next day, but it's nothing but disrespect. That's what that is. Now wiping out shareholders. Yeah, I can agree with this. Let's see. I decided to dump all my Color shares next Monday. I lost confidence and trust in Color Tech, and Michael Mokel. I don't know who Michael Mocolor promised no reverse split last time around. This is not what I signed up for. The stock. Yeah, I mean, hey, yeah, red flags. Like, if you have enough experience, you know this is a huge red flag. Like, how much disrespect can you take? That's my question. If you invested in this for the space technology, and now you're seeing the company go into supposedly AI and all this other stuff, battery technology, I shouldn't say space technology, battery technology, and then you see them go into Bitcoin a lot by screwing you over. You got into this initially for the battery tech, not all this other stuff. So that was another sign too as well. Big red flag. Correct. Big red flag. Yep. Now people are arguing. I don't know if all of that other stuff they're saying makes sense, but yeah. The company has pivoted hard, shifting from space battery tech to a full-on Bitcoin treasury play, which they did call themselves that. They said, "Hey, we're going to be Bitcoin first company." So that's another thing to keep in mind. They basically saw MSTR and were like, "Hey, let's do that instead." Man, so many people are upset right now. Let's go to the Color Reddit. I forgot about the Color Reddit. Whoops. KULRRED. There we go. They must be absolutely crying. Oh boy. All right, let's read through some of these. Color Technology, a Bitcoin first company, announced they were 1 for 8. Bag holder as well. This doesn't seem bullish at all, and I was not expecting a reverse, but no one was expecting that. Usually they do it when it's under $1, and they get like a grace period, but they just did it out of the blue. Like, boom, here's a reverse split, suck on that one, basically. Just sold 75% of it. I was okay, wary of the Bitcoin strategy, but I have stopped believing in this company. There isn't a clear path, and all the decisions timings feel like a detraction to the stockholders. Well, again, it's just a disrespect. Hey, we're going to dilute on these longs. But hey, we care more about institutional investors, not you. So hold that negative 25% down on this reverse split that just came out of nowhere. Hold that, basically. It's all disrespect. That's how I see it. I'm going to go to a company that respects me, like NVIDIA, and I will put my money in and I will hold it. And I showed you already, it just keeps going up, so it's hard to lose. I think someone discovered a strategy where you can just buy a leap on NVIDIA, and because it just keeps going up, it's hard to lose. Like, you just make, I think one guy made like 100% gains on an NVIDIA leap. Like, literally, he realized, like, wait a minute, yeah, Shades, NVIDIA stock just keeps going up on the yearly, so if I just buy a leap and sit on it, sure, I'll hold through some red, because there's going to be some red days within that yearly candle, but guess what? I can make 120%, and all I got to do is buy the leap and sit on it. So yeah, that's something that he discovered, and I was like, that's actually not a bad idea. So I'm going to probably buy a leap is what I'm thinking on NVIDIA. Might as well, if it just keeps going up every year. Makes sense to buy like a 2 or 3 year leap and just sit on it. Long-term investor here. 72,000 shares at 0.58 average. Ouch. I'm at 43K in profit. Bro, take profit. What are you, stupid? 43K? There's several people in my Discord who, if they were up 43K, they'd be like, I'm running with that and throwing a rooftop party. I would sell, man. Sell, and then rotate into quantum or Nvidia. As I just showed you, Nvidia. I just gave you a free strategy. Nvidia keeps going up on the yearly, and apparently you can just buy a leap and just sit on it, and it goes up 100%. Again, not financial advice, but that's what I'm seeing here based on what this one guy in my Discord has. This one guy in my Discord just keeps buying leaps on companies that continue to trend on the yearly, and I'm like, is it really that much of a money printer? Goddamn, maybe I need to, you learn new things, man. I'm not a leaps trader, or I don't trade leaps, but I'm thinking about it now, because he's shown me like, oh, it really is that easy, huh? You just got to really buy the time more than anything. It's one I'll keep an eye on, but will always need more convincing to put money in. Yeah. Yeah, you shouldn't beat yourself over it. Just take the profit and move on. Man, that is insane, guys. Are you reading this? There's people who did not sell when they were up like 700K, 500K, 300K. Like, I just told you, it's all psychology. I've been pounding the table on that for the past few days. It's all psychology. Like, they're afraid to sell too early, but they're also afraid to miss out, but they're also afraid. It's so stupid, too. Oh my God, I'm afraid if I sell too soon, I miss out on another 700K. Woe is me. Woe is me. Man, oh man, I would hate to miss out on another 700K or 300K or whatever. That's so stupid. There's people in the Discord right now who were like, if I could take some 700K off the table, I would. But the funny thing is, once you're actually in the moment, it's hard for some people to execute because they want more because they're greedy. That's just how humans are. That's how we are. We're greedy. We want things fast. We want a lot of money fast. And when we see that we're up a lot, we want more, unfortunately. It's kind of like fat people who want to lose weight. They want to lose weight, but they want to lose it fast, right? They work out for a week in January at the beginning of every year, and they see that they didn't drop all the weight in 1 week. By the way, it takes like years to put on that much weight. If you put on like 100 plus pounds, it takes years. But they want to lose it in a week at the beginning of every year. And then they disappear, right? Those of you who go to the gyms, you know what I'm talking about. That's just how people are. They want everything fast. That's why the weight loss pills are taking off. Anyways, I don't want to go into a huge rant about weight loss pills and why it's taking off and why. The whole point is the psychology side. The biggest enemy is the self in the markets. And you just saw multiple people say, yeah, I was up a ton, but I didn't take it. Have a game plan. Have a game plan. If your game plan is, I'm going to buy color stock, sit on it for 100%. If I'm going to buy NVIDIA stock, leaps, and sit on it and take profit at 100%, I'm not going to be greedy and want more. I will take the 100% on this stock that continues to trend on the yearly. Then you do that. You don't see that you're up 100% and go, oh no, I'm scared to sell because I want more. That's what it is. Have a game plan and follow it. If your goal is 100%, take the 100%. You do yourself a disservice when you don't follow the game plan. And I mean, doubling your money, really, you should be happy. You shouldn't be beating yourself up over it. Lock in your profits, avoid the declines. Yeah, basically. I'm currently a bag holder and waiting to get out of the stock when reasonable. He's stuck at 235. Goddamn. 3,420 shares? Man, these people go in bigger than I do. I only went in with like $4,000. These people go in with like 8, 10, 20, 30K. That's insane. To me, at least. I'm content with just making $500 off a trade, or even $50. $50. That's pizza money, but it's $50. I didn't have to. It came from the market's dime. the mentality here, and waiting to get out of this stock when reasonable, whether that's break even or a tolerable loss. You know what this guy's really thinking? He's hoping it pumps huge so he can get out at a profit. You know what's funny is if this pumped just enough for him to get out at break even, he might not even sell. He might actually continue to hold, hoping that, hey, I'm already at break even, might as well hold, because looks like it might go up even higher. And then they miss out on selling at a break even point, and then it goes back down. They're like, oh, I should have sold when it was at break even. It's like the opposite of people who say they're gonna buy the dip, but then when the dip is actually there, they don't buy it, and then it goes up, and they're like, oh, I should have bought the dip. It's like the opposite. It's funny how that works. It's all psychology. It will eventually come back. Right for a short squeeze, blah, blah, blah. Oh yeah, two guys in my Discord bought, I think, color leaps. So they're about to be very sad. Those color leaps were like $100 away. He lost. I'm going to assume he knows that he's about to lose money on the color leaps. If he's lucky, maybe it pumps on the 23rd. Because some people did buy color leaps. Yeah, the color leaps. Yeah, even taking a $200 loss on some color leaps, whatever. It's not a big deal. Not with the money he just made on that Nvidia leap. This is the vibe before the jumps last time. Just saying in the point 28 club. What do you mean? Too quiet, never mind the Bitcoin noise. Department of Defense and private space companies are all up in their grill. I suspect. The use of the words I suspect. Wow, thanks. I suspect. I also suspect I'm going to lose 1,000 pounds and be ripped. Right. I suspect I'm going to be a world champion. Like, get out of here. Sorry if I'm not catching on, but is this a good thing? Just don't listen to this guy. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about. At best, like I said, at best, we get a huge pump on the day of the reverse split. Then afterwards, it just dumps. Because it's always done that, right? It always pumps and then it just dumps huge. So that's like the best case scenario. Worst case scenario, reverse split happens and it just starts falling. Yeah, that's actually true. If you have to ask here, you better sell. Don't ask people on Reddit what they think. Do your own due diligence. Follow your own game plan. You should have had a game plan initially. Like, hey, you know what? Well, I guess their game plan is to hold long term, but they don't like that it's just coming back down to their average. And I just said this at the beginning of the video. What did I say? There's people who are holding stock down there at like 0.20s, 0.50s, but the reverse split is just going to cause this to have more room for downside. So it's going to come back down to their average, their new average at this point, and it's going to go even lower than that. And they're going to be the ones that are going to be down 80%. That can happen. Again, we're looking at the risky side of things. The bullish side of things, like I said, it has to pump huge on the reverse split the day of. And some of you need to just vamoose, because don't think that it's just going to explode to the moon. That doesn't make sense. The only reason this even moved was because of the catalyst behind it, not because of a reverse split. Wouldn't worry about it long term. 2+ years. Okay, let's just take a look at the 2+ years. Let's look at the previous 2 years. Okay, so this year. Okay, so there was that big pump, and then the previous 2 years were red. Big pump. Yeah. You guys see that? I mean, if you've been holding color since 2021, you're in the red because you bought. Let's say you bought at 2.11. And it's now at what, 0.89. So you're in the red actually if you've been holding for years. If you've been holding this since 20, because you really believe in it long term. So you weren't gonna flip it for a measly five. You bought it at what 2.08. You weren't gonna flip it for 150%. Screw that. You believe in it. You want $100 per share. You want 100,000% X. 100,000% X. 100,000% return. Because if these people are actually being honest and they do actually believe in it and want to hold long term, that's why they didn't sell when they were up so much, then the reality is the people who bought back in 2021 at $2, or even if they bought up here at $3, I guess, or back at 370, or even if they bought at the low of the candle at 1.7, guess what? They're down now. And for 5 years now, it's just going sideways. I want you to think about what I just said. For 5 years, this stock has been going sideways. And if you've been holding for 5 years since its inception, you're literally in the red now. In those same 5 years, you could have just bought Nvidia in 2021. You could have bought Nvidia in 2021. Let's assume you bought the very top of the candle. So you bought at $34 in 2021, and it went to 153 high. So you could have made, what, 5x? Less than 5x, but 4 to 5x, somewhere around there. This is assuming you bought the top of the candle. Obviously, if you bought at the open of the candle, you made way more, like almost 8x, 10x. So in the same 5-year time frame, you could have just played it safe and bought Nvidia and made way more on a stock that continues to trend on the yearly. Whereas Kulr, for 5 years now, it's just gone sideways. And anyone who bought at the beginning they were in the green, now they're in the red. So if you look at it long term, these first 5 years have been a dud because it's not going anywhere. So who's to say the next 5 years are going to be different? We don't know, but if history is going to repeat, longs are never going to make money. Because again, they're not going to sell at $5. They don't care for that. That's why they didn't sell when it was up there. Because they believe that it's worth more than that. They believe it's worth 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Palantir worth, they think it's worth, 125 or whatever. I'm not talking about the flippers, the people who are going to make the money trading it. Yes, there's opportunities, absolutely. But the longs are going to get destroyed long term. Because for 5 years, it's gone nowhere. And who's to say it's not going to do it again for the next 5? The pattern's already been established. It's just going sideways. You can ask anyone who bought here at the beginning in 2021. They will tell you, yeah, I'm down now. They will tell you, yeah, for 5 years now, this stock has gone nowhere, and I was in the green, now I'm in the red because of the reverse split, and now I'm going to wait another 5, and another 5, and another 5, and another 5. And the funny thing is, 10, 20 years are going to go by, and you could have just bought Nvidia and made way more. That's what's funny. That's what's interesting. Again, I'm talking about longs. I'm not talking about short-term traders. I'm not talking about the ones that have a game plan that are just looking to flip it. I mean, flippers are always going to make money if you know how to play the game. You're always going to be net profitable if you've got strategy. And you're going to take some losses along the way. No one gets 100% win rate. So, anyways, this was a long video. My voice is tired. I need to drink water. And that's all I got to say. That's all I got to say with regards to Kulr. I give it a hold and see if it moves on the 23rd. And if you can get out, get out. If it just tanks and it just continues to drop like it has been, then good luck. But I'm not bullish on it. I'm bearish on it. I'm not going to short it. Don't care to touch this in either direction. It's not a buy. It's one of those where if you're in it, get out if you can. If you're not in it, don't get in it. And move on. There's other opportunities. I just showed you. You could have just bought Nvidia the past 5 years and you would have made way more than holding Kulr stock for 5 years. And it's just going sideways. So longs, if you're a long or you're looking to be a long, like actually genuinely a long, not those fake longs. There's fake longs who pretend like, oh, I'm totally a long-term holder, but they'll sell the moment they're up like 100% or 300%. I'm talking about the real longs, the ones that are holding for, 10,000x, the ones that are holding for the big bucks, right? Those who bought Palantir at $5 or $3, $2 and sold it at $125, they're looking for the big bucks. That type of long is what I'm talking about. It's not looking good for you. It's been 5 years, I just showed you, and not much has happened.